right, so this has our agenda. We're going to try to run this road safety audit the way we have been doing road safety audits. There's 3 parts. We have welcome and introductions. We have review of the background material, the crashes. Then we write down the deficiencies, document the deficiencies. Then we visit the intersection. We're going to do that remotely with Sean in the field. And then we have a post site visit where we discuss potential improvements. And then we wrap up and talk about the next steps. I actually didn't introduce myself. My name is Ray Garino. I'm with the Old Colony Planning Council. And Bill McNulty is our other principal transportation planner. And I'm going to turn it over to Bill. And Bill's going to talk about some, just do introductions and talk about how we're going to communicate. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks everyone. So like Ray said, this is our first virtual road safety audit. This road safety audit is part of a regional road safety audit program that we're doing under the Unified Planning Work Program this year. It's under contract with the Massachusetts Department of Transportation in the Old Colony MPO's Unified Planning Work Program. The purpose of these road safety audits is to address high crash locations in our region and in the ultimate effort to achieve our regional safety targets and safety performance measures that both the Old Colony MPO and the state have to set each year. So it's an ultimate effort to reduce serious injuries and fatalities on the roadway network. And so what we're hoping to do today, and with all these road safety audits that we're doing through this program this year, is identify measures that can be implemented in the short term to short-term measures and lower cost measures that can be implemented in the short term that can improve safety and help us in both help both us and the state achieve our safety performance targets. And so we have Ray Garino, and he already introduced himself, and he's going to be running the show today and talking about the existing conditions. And he'll be working with Kyle Mowat on our staff, and we'll be recording people's observations and ideas for improving safety at this location. So with that, I'll hand it back to Ray.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. All right. So the intersection is Depot Street at Turnpike Street. And I think I got some background noise there. Okay, Depot Street at Turnpike Street in Easton. And let's see, Depot Street, both are 2-lane facilities, minor arterial. Turnpike, its class and jurisdiction, it's a minor arterial under Eastern jurisdiction. Depot Street, it's a major collector, also under Eastern jurisdiction. The intersection is stop sign controlled at the Depot Street eastbound approach. We researched the District 5 researched the speed permits. So and we also looked at the posted speed on the streets. So Depot Street is 35 miles per hour in both directions. 20 miles per hour near Route 138 as you go to the west. Turnpike Street is 40 miles per hour. And also 30 miles per hour near Route 138. Let's see. Posted speed limit. So it is posted on Depot Street, 35 miles per hour, and Turnpike Street, northbound and southbound, is posted at 40 miles per hour. We did some research into the traffic volumes. For 2020, 6,209 vehicles per day on Depot Street, 38 mile per hour, 85th percentile, and about 8.7% heavy vehicles. The machine counts we found for Turnpike Street were 13,184 vehicles per day. That's north of Depot Street. But south of Depot Street, it was less. It was 8,513. And our source is Mass DOT for these counts, as well as Old Colony's archived counts. These are some of the pictures that we took out there. So we're looking northbound on Turnpike Street. So you can see it's 2 lanes in both directions. We're just south of Depot Street here. The stop sign would be people coming from the east. Southbound, so we looking south now. There's some vegetation over here on the northwest corner. The stop sign is, well, where the stop sign is. So, and is also posted limited heavy vehicles. Eastbound, so this would be approaching the stop sign. And there's some stanchions over here in front of the house. Maybe they might have had some problems before as cars ran off the road into that property. So looking north, and this is that knoll, that berm. And it has a sign that says commercial vehicles over 2.5 tons are excluded. This is off the Mass DOT truck exclusion network, and I don't know if you can see this map too well, but Depot Street is here, and the truck exclusion actually starts at Route 138. So this section over here, it really isn't excluded, but there's nowhere else to go. You have to go south. But there's an exclusion on Depot Street. Yep.
We filed the truck exclusion for that section of Depot Street 3 years ago, and it was accepted by the state.
Okay. Okay, so that's something that they should they need to update. Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This shows the collision diagram. And there was 1 fatality. That's what this this symbol here represents, right there. So that was in 2018, and it looks like someone was taking a left turn out, and they hit head on with an oncoming vehicle, and that was coming southbound. So the majority of these are crash. This shows a crash month, crash week, crash time of the day. But the majority are angle, 75% angle collisions, and the majority were during the daylight. And the crash month was kind of spread out throughout the year. There wasn't a lot of crashes, but the severity of crashes was pretty high. And the road surface was actually good. There was no crashes when under wet or snowy weather. The driver age data was not available. Usually it is, but it wasn't recorded. So at this point in our road safety audit, we're going to ask the participants to give us what the deficiencies are, or what they think the problems are. So if you have a comment or question, just use the raise hand button, and we can call on you. I'm going to turn it over to Kyle. Kyle is going to record. He's going to record people's comments in the comment section. So let me check to see. Okay, we have 19 panelists.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Where is it? Oh no. I'm trying to stop sharing. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And Kyle, you can share. Yep.
I think you have to allow me to share. It says it's the host disabled sharing.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Okay, Kyle, you should be all set.
Yeah. Thanks, Charlie.
So if I go to here, right?
Yeah, so we'll just open it up. If anybody has any comments on deficiencies for this intersection, just let me know and I'll write them down right here to record them. So I'll just open it up to anybody right now.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Were the crashes all vehicle to vehicle?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Oh, and Ray.
Yep.
It's Michelle from MassDOT.
Hi, Michelle.
Long time no see.
Hi.
Before we before we go too in depth to the discussion, could we have an introduction section to everybody so we know who's here?
Sure. Sure,
That'd be
we can
great.
do that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Maybe. Okay. I'm just going to go by my screen. Okay. We have Greg Barger. I'm
Greg
sorry.
Barger,
I'm sorry.
Vice Chair of the Easton Select Board.
Okay. We have Kyle Mowat, Old Colony Planning Council. We have Bill McNulty, Old Colony Planning Council. We have Benjamin. You can introduce yourself.
Ben Muller, MassDOT Office of Transportation Planning and Liaison to Old Colony Planning Council.
Okay. We have David.
Yep, Dave Field, Director of Public Works, Town of Easton.
Okay, we have Handed Bunch. Okay.
It's Buntich, Hannah Buntich, Senator Walter Timmelty's Chief of Staff.
Okay. We have Claire Cronin. I can.
Sorry, I'm having a little trouble with my video. We'll be on in a second.
Yep.
I just wanted to say Senator Timmelty was unable to be here because of a conflict, so he asked me to share that with you. but I'm delighted to join.
Okay. We have Michelle.
Hi, my name is Michelle Dang. I'm from Mass DOT Traffic Safety.
We have Gregory.
Greg Swan, Assistant Town Engineer for the town of Easton.
We have Stephanie.
Stephanie Danielson, Director of Planning and Economic Development for the town of Easton.
Okay, we have Sean.
Sean Bailey, Senior Transportation Planner, Old Colony Planning Council.
We have Dakota.
Dakota Del Senor, Mass Dot Traffic Safety Section.
We have Jonathan.
Jonathan Cameron for the Easton Fire Department.
We have two Jonathans. We have Jonathan Brown. We have Jonathan Carroll.
Well, John Brown, I'm from Mass DOT Traffic Safety as well.
Okay. We have Dottie.
Hello, I am Chair of the Select Board in Easton and also the Economic Recovery Planner with Old Colony Planning Council.
Okay, we have Bianca.
Hi, I'm Bianca Marshall. I'm with Mass DOT District 5 Traffic.
Okay, we have Charles.
Hi, Charles Kilmer, Old Colony Planning Council.
We have Mary. Mary Waldron. Are you able to?
Yeah, she doesn't have access to a microphone or camera right now, but
I don't know why. Let me see. How's that? Let me see. I don't know what.
but Mary is the Executive Director of Old Colony Planning Council.
Okay. And we have Jason.
Hi, Jason Walters, MassDOT District 5 projects. And I kind of just have one sort of request. As I'm taking notes and when everybody ran through their names and titles, it'd be helpful, at least for me, if in the chat box, people could give their names and titles just so that I, can have a decent record. I want to get titles right.
Sure. Also, we are recording this too, so we'll have a recording available. Okay, great. So I'm not sure if Mary, can you hear us? Or still trying to get Mary Waldron. Okay. All right, so we left off where we were at the point in the road safety audit where we are writing down deficiencies and taking comments and questions. And please use the raise hand button. Does anybody have a question or comment about the intersection or about deficiencies? Michelle, you said you had something, or?
I think from the beginning, just want to open up the conversation.
Yep.
Just
Okay.
looking at the basic of the crash data and the background, looks like the northwest corner
Right.
by the house of number 39, I believe. The sight line is pretty bad for vehicle coming out from Depot, taking a left. I never drove the intersection, and because we are on virtual RSA, we cannot go into the site. I just don't know for you guys who travel and use this intersection a lot during the day, what's the actual situation out there?
If Sean can hear me, maybe Sean can. I think Sean's actually pointing that way right now with his
I
camera.
can hear you, and yeah, I listened to which spot that she was referring to, and put myself in the location where she was mentioning.
Right. So if we look at Sean's, We can,
Yeah, so towards the left of my camera, you can see the stop sign, and you can take a look at this car, even pulling up to the stop line, still doesn't have a great line of sight.
yep. So we have limited sight lines looking north from the stop sign. What about lighting? Well, most of the crashes were during the daylight, so lighting doesn't seem to be a problem, nor is inclement weather. Although there weren't a lot of crashes in the 4-year or 3-year period. Sean, was that a 3-year or 4-year period we looked back? I think it was 4 years, right?
It was 4-year. It was 2017 to 2020.
Right. So we didn't have a lot of crashes, but the severity was pretty bad, and we also had a fatality, and that was on that approach where someone was taking a left turn out of there where that truck is. Well, the truck is actually going right, but.
Dave, you have a comment?
Yeah, so as far as the lighting goes, I don't think we have a lighting issue there. We actually have a street light right in the intersection.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to 175 watts, the brightest light we have.
Yep.
LED lights. I think the lighting's probably adequate.
Yep, and here's the location of that street light you was mentioning on the telephone pole right across the street from the intersection.
Yeah.
Stephanie, you had a comment?
Yes, I'm wondering where the crashes are all occurring during the day and not at night. If the advantage in the evening is that you can see the headlights of vehicles more clearly, and it better warns you of what the traffic levels are. Sean, I can't tell how many of those vehicles are running with running lights or operating with running lights. I don't know if you've observed that as you're out there.
In the field today?
Yes.
I have not really seen many lights on. It looks like this car pulling up right now has its headlights on. But I can't say that it's been obvious that they've had them on. Just with it being bright outside, it's a little hard to see.
This is it's an observation, not specific to this intersection, but I'm a cyclist, and I'm just surprised that we don't have a mandated across the country daylight running lights, because it makes it so much easier to see vehicles, even when I'm driving, but certainly as a cyclist, although that's not the crash issue here.
But,
Yes,
I think you bring up a good issue because I don't know if there's any room for cyclists to navigate through this intersection. There's no.
There are no cyclist markings along this.
Right. No
this
markings,
road.
no signage or anything like that. I think we could put that in there. No
Yeah, we could
bicycle
probably add like signs or share roads. The road's not really wide enough to add like a bike lane, for example. Like, here's a view of the shoulder pointing south from the intersection.
Right.
Right. Not much space to add a bike lane.
But there is a sidewalk on that side, right?
Yes, so I'm in the southwest corner of this intersection facing south, and this is the only sidewalk on any approach to this intersection. There's no approaches on the north and no sidewalks on Depot Street.
Okay. Are there any other comments?
Bianca, you had a comment?
So I'm not really too familiar with this intersection, but I was looking at it via Google, and it looks like Turnpike Street southbound is coming downhill kind of into a horizontal curve. And I'm not sure if you can really see the side street of Depot Street as you're approaching. I'm not sure if that's an issue. And also I noticed the house that is directly across from Depot Street, they have bollards installed in front of their property. And it looks like there's been a few crashes there, but they're not documented with the crash data that was supplied.
Yeah, and when I was out there, When I was out there, I did go travel up and down through the intersection. I think that's a good observation, Bianca, because the grade is kind of like a crest in the grade on the southbound. The intersection is there, so there's not a lot of visibility. Not a lot of visibility on the southbound approach. So, I think that's definitely a problem.
And it might be compounded by the vegetation that's in that corner that you mentioned earlier.
Right, as people approach the intersection at the stop sign, they're looking left, and if they don't really see anybody because of the grade and also the vegetation, and then someone traveling southbound, if they're speeding, all of a sudden they're right upon the intersection, and they're right upon that person turning left. Yeah.
Ben, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo the discussion about the southbound on Turnpike Street. It's a pretty long straightaway there, and I know driving through it before you get to Depot from the north, you're driving through a pretty long straightaway of a wooded area, and it's pretty easy to pick up a little bit of speed and feel like you're in a relatively safe zone. But then when you get to the Depot Street intersection, it turns and it kind of opens up a bit. You're not quite expecting it if you're not super used to the area.
Anybody else have any comments on deficiencies?
Does the intersection ever back up by any chance?
Does the intersection? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the complete question. John, yeah.
Does the intersection ever back up by any chance? I just don't know how.
Right, congested.
Right.
Yeah, and the
Turnpike
peak
normally.
in the peak hour, excuse me, in the peak hour it does get a little backed up on Depot Street there, and I suspect that's the primary factor why a lot of these crashes are in the day and not so much at night. Because at nighttime, the volume on both those roadways drops way off, and as Stephanie said earlier, it's a lot easier with the with headlights to see approaching vehicles. That the conflict between the southbound approach and the westbound approach in terms of sightlines is problematic from both directions. People on Depot Street have a lot of difficulty seeing traffic coming south on Turnpike. And vice versa, coming southbound, you're picking up a lot of speed. The roadway has the feel of a rural country roadway. You're kind of cruising along, and you come up on that Depot Street intersection really fast, and it's you don't expect the intersection to be there. There's a lot oftentimes in the peak hour, vehicles are encroaching out to get a better sightline. The vegetation is a problem, especially we're not really seeing it this time of year right now when the full foliage not on the trees, but in a couple months when those trees are fully foliated, you're going to have a lot of shadowing looking to the north. So you're going to have there's a big differential between very bright areas and very dark areas, which also creates a visibility issue.
Mm-hmm. And I think one more comment is that the approach on Depot Street, the eastbound approach is pretty wide. I measured it a little bit. It's about 30 feet. I was just wondering if people obviously they will kind of line up to the left and wait for their gap to come out for a left turn. At the same time, is it a lot of car will edge out to the right and then also trying to use it as a two-lane approach to come out from a right turn because it could block the visibility of the southbound coming vehicle. I just don't know if that's a common
Right.
practice there.
Sean, does it look like there's enough room for right turns? Can you hear me, Sean?
Yep, I can hear you. And I
Does it
was,
look-
yes, I was just about to comment about that. If a car coming east on Depot Street is turning left to turn north onto Turnpike, if
Yep.
he's close enough to the double yellow line, there is enough space for, an average sized car to squeeze through.
Yeah.
And I've actually seen that a handful of times while being here this morning. I'm not sure if I've captured any of them on my phone, just with turning my phone so many different directions. But there does appear to be space. I don't know if there's enough space so much so as to put the actual like painted divided line, but
Right.
there is space for vehicles turning right to go south on the Turnpike to get up to the stop line.
Okay, so there's a de facto right turn. You might want to put that down, Kyle. There's de facto right turn on Depot Street. And I do see now, I've figured out where I can see people who've raised their hands. Stephanie Danielson, looks like she has a comment or question.
That was from before.
That was from before. How about Jonathan Brown?
Yeah, I wanted to say, I just noticed that like most of the crashes, or all the crashes actually that are documented are between like November and April. So I wonder if it may be less of an issue of vegetation in that northwest corner and maybe like snow pile up. Obviously, like I don't have any pictures of like the conditions during the accident, but I wonder if like plows are pushing even more snow up onto that like hill there. And then obviously with the two driveways to that house as well, just kind of further compounding that. And if you could end up having some really high snow banks in that area affecting visibility.
Yeah, I think that's a good comment. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I don't see anyone else with their hand up or a question or comment.
David Field.
has a comment.
David Field, go ahead, David.
Yeah, so I just have an observation. In my opinion, it looks like most of these accidents are related to a lack of gap in traffic. And that's the issue. They're taking unsafe movements because they're waiting too long. And I think that's really the key here.
That's a lack of gap in Turnpike Street traffic.
Correct.
Kyle, right. I want Kyle to make sure he puts that there. Yep. Great.
Stephanie?
Again, I think Sean could answer this because he's out there. Another observation I've had regarding traffic in general is that people come up to intersections and they turn. There's little slowing down, there's little waiting for traffic. Is that something that you're observing? It looks from the video that you're showing us, Sean, it looks like a lot of those vehicles, especially those trucks, are just coming up and just taking that left-hand turn from the south approach on Turnpike Street onto Depot Street.
Yeah, no, there definitely is some vehicles, like you said, from coming south from the north approach, kind of going a little faster around the corner than they should. And same for vehicles pulling out of Depot Street. A lot of them aren't coming to a full stop. They're kind of just slowing down, and then if the coast is clear, just taking off. And I've also observed a decent amount of vehicles who are turning left to go north onto Turnpike, who are kind of crossing over the yellow line, kind of taking the curve going this way. And if a vehicle's coming north from the south approach, that kind of is basically just saying, hey, I'm turning and you're going to wait for me.
Exactly.
And not really staying in their lane of travel.
Bill, You have your hand up?
Yep. So I was just gonna say, when I was out there driving Turnpike Street, I didn't notice a lot of great like intersection advanced warning signs for the intersection. So
That's actually might be a good segue into our next stage of the meeting, which is to talk about measures.
and Ray, if I may, just
Right,
one
sorry.
observation that I made before I was able to get access for my camera to show you this live feed. After I got here, there was an 18-wheeler coming from the north approach coming south who turned onto Depot Street, who, because of the length of his trailer bed and the design of this intersection, he actually had to come up, into the opposing lane of traffic, into the eastbound traffic lane to make the full turn without hitting anything on the northwest corner. Just wanted to make that observation in case anybody wanted to also say they've also observed that.
That's a great observation. So there's a lack of space for
Truck radius.
Right, truck radius. Yep, that's good.
Right, I think we should note that, those trucks are excluded unless they're making local deliveries. They're excluded from Depot, so they shouldn't be on the road.
That's true. Right, they shouldn't be on Depot Street at all.
Is there signage upon the approach indicating that? I saw one sign earlier.
Yes, it's signed in both directions.
Yeah, so this, let me see if I can get across.
It might not be. Yeah, it might not be visible.
Yeah, so here's the sign. So I'm facing south right now at the intersection, and here's the sign. And then coming from the south approach, I mean, it does seem to be, because I feel like in some of the pictures that we've had, there have been more vegetation blocking it, but it seems like a lot of it has been cleared. I'm not sure if there are any advanced warning signs for the truck exclusion further north on Turnpike. But there is this sign at the intersection. And then right after you turn onto Depot Street from the north approach, there's another sign right in front of me that also shares a posted speed limit sign.
Right. By that time, it's kind of too late. They've already made the turn, but.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But I don't think there are any other warning signs. I drove up and down Turnpike Street. So
yeah,
I think those are the only truck exclusion signs that I saw when I was out there.
Yeah, I can say the same. I don't remember seeing any. So maybe adding in some advanced warning truck exclusion signs further north and south on Turnpike Street would be a good addition.
Right, because because once you hit the intersection and you're making the turn, you're already on the turn and you're already doing it, and there's a sign right there. So they might need more advanced warning. Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to potential improvements, short-term, long-term. Improve sight distance, remove vegetation from the west side of Turnpike Street, advanced warning signs for truck exclusion. I put down signal, maybe do a signal warrant analysis ahead of time, but if anyone has any other ideas about potential improvements, short-term or long-term. Bill?
Yep. So I mean, I know you wrote down advanced warning signs for the truck exclusion, but just advanced warning signs for the intersection in general. So from both approaches to Depot Street, having MUTCD compliant signs on each side of the roadway that intersection is coming up, and then the street name placard underneath, just for heightened driver awareness.
Okay. You got that, Kyle? MUTCD compliance? I thought I saw Benjamin Euler. No.
Definitely has your hand up.
Oh, I don't know who puts it down. Am I supposed to put my hand down?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
that's okay.
So right, speed enforcement,
Yes,
non-compliance with the heavy vehicle exclusion zone enforcement as well.
Is there a lot of pedestrian or bicycle activity in this area?
I don't know. I don't think so.
If I could, a few years ago, probably within the last 5 years, 5 to 6 years, one of the residents in town, when we were looking at bicycle and pedestrian access coming out of our master planning process, indicated that there are people who walk along this road, Turnpike Street. He wasn't sure where they were coming from, what residences, but they were walking to employment, it would seem, in Brockton. So further north on Turnpike Street. Also along, so if you turn onto Depot Street and you're heading west, at the intersection of Washington Street, heading north, is our Queeset Commercial District. It's an area that we've modified our zoning to encourage more mixed use and neighborhood-like development. And you can see there were residences. I mean, it's not heavily residentially developed along Turnpike Street, but there are certainly houses and homes where people could walk to that district. And there's, as much as it's aging and it needs a facelift and some other improvements in the district, there's a lot of amenities and services that people could walk to and avail themselves of.
So there is pedestrian desire to access and use Depot Street. Because right now it doesn't have sidewalk on Depot Street at all.
No.
Right.
And if I may just interject really quick, there have been a few pedestrians that have walked by this intersection since I've been here, and other times that I've been at this intersection, I have also observed pedestrians. Not a lot of them, but I have observed some.
Yeah, and that's without any kind of real accommodation.
Right.
Correct.
Michelle, if you look to the north, Michelle, along the bridge, you can see kind of a goat path where there's not even much space in front of the guardrail, between the guardrail and the street, but pedestrians are risking it. I'm sure maybe even some cyclists are risking it, and so there does seem like there's pedestrian activity currently.
Yeah, I mean, I can say I bicycle along that road and onto Depot Street if I'm riding to work and I'm dropping off my car for repairs in the industrial park. I'll come down that way just to get a better ride. I ride over from where I live in Brockton to the farmers market when it's open on further down on Depot Street. And I encounter other cyclists along the way. It's not heavily trafficked at all by cyclists, but
Does either Turnpike Street or Depot Street, I don't know if the town have a town-wide pedestrian and bike plan. Is this two road designated as bike path network in the future or anything? Any plan for this?
So I think there was something on the screen when we first started that acknowledged that Depot Street is included in the town's complete streets policy. So the town does have a complete streets policy, has done and I'm only because Dave and Greg didn't jump to the forefront and speak first, but the town's done a really good job of, as they're doing road repairs and in roadway improvements, and certainly our TIP projects, of looking at opportunities to add pedestrian and bicycle accommodations.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Trying to get.
Yes, I just have a quick. I was just asked to speak out. Does Representative Cronin or the person from Senator Timothy's office just wanted to ask if they had any comments or observations on any potential improvements or anything from this intersection?
I would defer to the town officials on this. They have done all of the work and, are very well aware of the needs of our community in a way that I'm very proud of, actually. I think, as I always say, there's, in my mind, there's no better run town in America. And every one of them is hardworking and they're really the experts in this. So I'm going to defer to them and support them in their views on this.
And I would just have to echo Leader Cronin's sentiments that the town has done a great job on all this, and I know the senator would agree. And so whatever they feel will make this intersection safer is what, the senator will be, happy to support.
Very good, thank you.
Now, I just want to know, get people's feelings on signalization. We could do a signal warrant, but I'm not sure how people in the town feel about something like that.
Yeah, I can just comment on that briefly. I think you could probably do a warrant here, but this is a much lower priority than some other intersections that we currently are working on. And what the primary one that I'm thinking of is just south of this at Purchase and then at Washington, so on Turnpike. Those are really our focus right now. And those are much more severe crash issues.
What about a flashing beacon? Or something like that?
We wouldn't be opposed to something like that, but I think intersection head signs, Depot Street placard signs on those, even maybe trucks excluded placards on those intersection head signs may help a lot. Rather try out some lower cost measures first, but again, we wouldn't be opposed to flashing beacons.
Yeah, we could put those lower cost measures as a priority. Okay. All right. Is there anyone else who has a comment or trying to see if anyone else has their hand up?
Ben just raised his hand.
Who did?
Ben Muller.
Ben, okay.
Yeah, I just had a question, I guess, for the town folks. I had noticed in some of the pictures, there's like a designation of Lothrop's Corner for there's a little street sign there. Is that the town designation? Is that like a historic marker of some kind?
Yeah, so we have several of these intersections are named throughout town. It's not historic per se, but it's just a designation that's been around for many years.
All right, yeah, I didn't know if there was like some organization that supported those externally that might also be interested in helping out, or yeah.
I think people who are I'm not contradicting Dave, but I know several historians in town, and I think they view those markers as indicating older neighborhoods and areas that were identified under those names as neighborhood areas. So I'm not sure what kind of assistance you were thinking they might provide, but it's never hurts to, if we can articulate that, ask. So I'm not sure what you had in mind, Benjamin.
Oh, I was thinking maybe if there was, some decorative planting or something where they could maintain the vegetation there on the corner in some way that both enhances that designation and improves the sightlines.
So,
Yep.
so the vegetation, sorry, the vegetation on the northwest corner, that's private property, right? That belongs to that house, is it? Or it's in the town right away?
It's probably a combination of someone's in the town right away and some is private. In cases where we have issues with vegetation, we'd have our police safety officer approach the homeowners and ask for permission to have the town trim that back or ask them to do it.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions or comments? All right. I want to thank everyone for being here. Before we close, I should say something about our next steps in our process for road safety audits. Our role in the road safety audit, Old Colony Planning Council, is that we're the facilitator. So we do all the background data, we'll do all the analysis and the collect all the data, and we'll put together a report, and we will send it out to the participants, and we'll send the draft out to the participants for their review and comments, and then we'll finalize the report. And once we do that, then the town's next step is to take action. Whatever, as David said, some are low priorities, some are high priorities. Whatever action they want to take, and that's when we come in to help with grants. It could be funded in different ways. Is there anything else you want to say, Bill, before we sign off? Anything that I missed?
No, I think you covered. So just want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you to the delegation and the elected officials in Easton for joining us today. And we usually look to have a quick turnaround on these reports. So say in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a draft report out to you for review, and you'll have plenty of time to review it and provide any comment that you think we missed or maybe wasn't brought up today, but maybe you think of something tomorrow, and then you'll have an opportunity to comment on that as well. So.
Yeah, I want to thank our Old Colony Planning Council team, especially our guy out in the field, Sean. This is our first remote road safety audit, so it was a little bit choppy in the beginning, but I think having Sean out in the field, he did a real good job, and thank you, Kyle, for stepping in. And I want to thank everyone for participating. State Rep Click, Cronin, and everyone from the town, and the state senator's office also, and our friends at DOT. So thank you all for participating, and I will definitely be in touch. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.